Alright, so I assume all of you are familiar with a little advocacy group that goes by the name of LGB, Lesbian, Bi, Gay Alliance. By the name, to many people who've not heard of it, they may think this is some LGBT queer advocacy group, right? You know, like maybe an alliance of LGBT people to fight against bigotry from homophobic and other queerphobic sources, like whatever it may be, right? That you'd assume that's what an organization like that would be, right? Well, no. You'll notice that LGB pretty obviously leaves out another letter oftentimes used in the shortened version of the acronym that broadly refers to gender non-conforming people, right? The T. The T that stands for trans. Why might that be? Oh, did they perhaps not have enough ink to print out the T? They were like, ah, shit. Well, we can either make it LGBT Alliant, or we can make it LGB Alliance. You know, did that happen? Maybe they're out of ink? That's possible? No, that's not the case, actually. I don't know why I decided to start the segment with this bit, where I'm just kind of leading you all on, but, you know, I've been watching a lot more YouTube videos lately, and I'll click on a YouTube video, and the title will be about a very obvious this is what the video's about, and then you click on the video, and it's like the video maker is teasing you with the topic. It's like, I know what the video's about. I clicked on it when I read the title when I clicked on the video. I know what this is about. Why are you pretending like I don't? It's going to be a surprise when the topic of this video is revealed. Apparently YouTube viewers like that. Regardless, LGB Alliance. Really, all you need to know about this organization is this article. LGB Alliance co-founder breaks down in court when asked to define lesbian. Here, I'm going to pause this Christmas music really quick. It's a little bit out of place, don't you think? LGB Alliance co-founder breaks down in court when asked to define lesbian. Court case over organization's charitable status brought by trans rights group is adjourned after exchange. A co-founder of LGB Alliance was reduced to tears during cross-examination on the definition of the word lesbian on Thursday, prompting the court to adjourn during a legal challenge to the Charity Commission's decision to award charitable status to the organization. The meaning of the word lesbian has been analyzed on several occasions during 5 days of court hearings triggered by a challenge brought by the children's trans rights charity Mermaids. You might have heard of it. It's a very good organization, Mermaids. Kate Harris, a co-founder of LGB Alliance, was invited by Michael Gibbon, KC, counsel for Mermaids, to reflect on whether some people would have a different understanding of lesbian from the definition given by her organization. That a lesbian can be a man with a penis, she asked? So, I guess I'll finish this bit. Gibbon responded, putting it in a more neutral way, that lesbians can include someone who is a woman as a result of gender reassignment. Harris, who is a lesbian, was distressed by the exchange, and the judge called for a short adjournment. Gibbon later apologized if he had, quote-unquote, raised something inadvertently upsetting. Harris said, I'm going to speak for millions of lesbians around the world who are lesbians because we love other women. We will not be a race, and we will not have any man with a penis tell us he's a lesbian because he feels he is. I can tell. I can just tell by the way this is worded. Hold on.
I'm going to speak for millions of lesbians around the world who are lesbians because we love other women.
Hold on, no, I need to... hold on, I gotta get the bitchiness in there, the cuntiness in the pronunciation.
Women. Woman.
Yeah, there it is.
Because we love other woman. We will not be erased, and we will not have any man with a penis tell us he's a lesbian because he feels he is.
That right there had to have been a perfect impression of the motherfucker who said that. She added,
a lesbian is attracted to another biological woman.
Biological woman is not a scientifically recognized term. They made that word up. And yes, all words are made up, but they extra made that one up.
It is not a a gay or trans or queer or whatever advocacy group or a charity or whatever. It is actually a hate group that specifically seeks to build a barrier between lesbian, gay, and bisexual people, as that they identify to be, or that their supporters identify to be, and trans people, right? Basically, the idea is that how for a really long time, anytime a lefty would have to argue with a conservative about whether or not insert person is a racist, the go-to response from the conservative was insert suspected racist is friends with black people. Or, even better, insert suspected racist isn't even white. You know how that was like their kill shot? Like there's their fucking their ult, their death blow in any debate. Like, you think that person's a racist?
Well, they're brown.
And they think they've just absolutely destroyed you. Well, that started to obviously become a little bit less of a a rock solid response now that you got like Kanye West, definitely one of the most famous black men in the world, and he's just a Nazi now, just publicly a Nazi now. So you can't really do the whole like, oh, if you're not white then you can't be a racist defense anymore, at least not without opening yourself up to a very easy, jab, right? What about Kanye West, right? In that same way, the LGB Alliance is basically trying to utilize a very similar defense to Kanye West defenses of non-white racists, right? Where because they are, because they're queer, or they claim to be at least. I'm not going to question whether or not they are, but most of them do. Because of that, they utilize it as a shield in order to paint their bigotry as a woke critique, right? Isn't it interesting how all of this sounds a lot like the kind of thing, just a little bit, almost like the kind of thing you might hear like an activist from back in, the 90s, like a lesbian activist say, right? Not too far off, right? Like, we don't want men and their desires being like put onto us. Like, but back then that was the feminist movement arguing against a culture that had heavily normalized women being mistreated and sexually abused and having their autonomy taken from them, while now these are not activists arguing like fighting against oppression. These are bigots attacking another minority group and trying to pretend like they're levying progressive critique, because they know you can't just say, well, you can actually, as you'll see the modern day right does, but they know that without directly being known to be a bigot, you can't just say trans people are like degenerates or whatever, like do the full-on conservative, like, right-wing propaganda spree. So instead, you make it sound like something progressive. Regardless, LGB Alliance at this point is pretty well known as like an anti-trans hate group, right? Like it's pretty unanimous, this knowledge at this point, which is why you're going to be pretty goddamn disappointed to find this out. Twitch, are you really supporting an anti-trans group? What the fuck? With a screenshot and an @ to both Twitch and Twitch support. Let's take a look at this. Support the causes you care about. So this is like find charity to get started, LGB Alliance. So you can see LGB Alliance is one of the charities that streamers can raise money for, charities, quote unquote. It's basically a funding source for a hate group that streamers can use Twitch in order to, basically you attach a donation through line through Twitch, and basically Twitch becomes a platform through which a streamer can make it so their donations go through to LGB Alliance and act as donations to it, right? So pretty horrific, right? Really funny how they did the Womexen thing as well, right? Like, this really is peak corporate pandering to like the LGBT community, right? They do the Womexen thing, You remember that? The Womexan thing? Because they're like, oh yeah, it's National Womexans Day. We don't want to do National Women's Day because that will ostracize trans women. Dude, they understood what they just implied, right? So basically, they really missed with that, but they really tried to make it look like they were doing something pro-trans, and now we got this, right? This kind of reminds me of how YouTube is running literal hate group ads on their platform right now, like ads for actual hate groups and their like official YouTube channels. They'll run on like tons of different channels before videos. While we have seen many advances in legal protections for lesbians, gay men, and bisexuals, this is not yet translated into practice in all aspects of our personal, professional, and political lives, even in countries that have seen such advances for LGB people. Our rights, culture, and history are now under threat from new ideologies, conflating biological sex with the notion of gender identity, and replacing sex with gender, thereby erasing same-sex sexual orientation. Yeah, man, the trans community really believes gay people don't exist. I mean, you go up to any conservative, ask them, hey, you think gay people exist? Oh, yeah, of course gay people exist. Yeah, of course. Walk up to the average transgender person. You ask them, oh, do gay people exist? They're like, gay people? Nah, there's no such thing as gender, thus there's no such thing as gay. Your identity is invalid. You're erased. Is that what they think happens? Anyway, pretty horrific, but not surprising. Platforms like Twitch and YouTube do not give a shit about any of the progressive political ideologies they push. Some of the individuals within these companies might, but outside of that, yeah, outside of that, nah, yeah, the corpos don't care. The corpos don't care. There's a couple of corporations that are like run by people that I do think are like smaller corporations. Like here, I'll give an example of a corporation that I do think is actually genuine in its progressive messaging, and perhaps I'm a little bit biased here, but Hypixel Studios. The studio making my most anticipated game, and I have been waiting since 2018 and will continue to do so for a while, no doubt. Hypixel Studios, they're making Hytale, and they are very, very publicly progressive. Like, they donated, like, I think the CEO donated, like, a shit ton of his, the CEO Noxy. He's the lovely, beautiful man who sent me this little 3D printed Quebec. He donated like a shit ton of his money to BLM during the George Floyd protests, and they do like Pride Month posts on the they do like a on their server, because I assume they have a server for testing the game. They'll do like a postcard where they decorate like their village that they're building with like in the testing server, presumably, with like rainbow stuff, and there's like tons of rainbow and LGBT like flags and cosmetics in the game. Like you can just in game there's like pride sweaters and like all that kind of stuff. You can get like pride, like that's just gonna be in the game. And that may sound like, oh, okay, well any company can do that, but like I'm not gonna lie, I follow basically the entire dev team on Twitter. Some of them even follow me back. Many of them are LGBT. Many of them are LGBT. And it just seems like, and it's a smaller company, like 100 plus people. That's an example of a company that I think is very genuine in their progressive messaging. But as far as like these massive corporations such as Google and Amazon, who own YouTube and Twitch ostensibly, they don't actually give a fuck. To be clear, progressivism sells, okay? It's actually not that progressivism sells. Progressivism doesn't actually sell. There is some truth to go woke, go broke. There actually is some truth to it. If you were to make a movie so obnoxiously woke, everyone would hate it. If you were to make a movie as obnoxiously woke as the conservatives make it out to be, like every movie they call woke to be, people would hate them. People would hate those movies. I think like a lot, they wouldn't do very well. The problem is they have a tendency just to call anything that has non-white people in it or non-straight cis people in it or like any semblance of a progressive message in it, they call it woke. And now it's, yeah, so it doesn't really mean anything. There's also go woke or go broke. Listen, you can, like, what conservatives call woke is just having non-white people there and stuff. What is actually woke, like what would actually be considered wokeness in media, would be like, let me tell you an example of a piece of media that unironically went woke. The Walking Dead. Okay? The Walking Dead unironically went woke. I'm not kidding. It did. It actually did. Like, first season of The Walking Dead, first, like, 6 seasons of The Walking Dead, it's like, you can tell the politics of the showrunners and writers are, like, certainly more on the conservative side, for sure. And the final season of the show, now that it's, like, switched show, like showrunners a lot, the show switched hands quite a bit. In the last season of the show, they literally do an arc. There's just, the final arc of the show is just class struggle. That's it. It's literally just class struggles, the final season of the show. The entire plot hinges around wealth disparity in a massive community with like 50,000 members in the apocalypse. With that said, these corporations don't care. However, they do have to maintain, like this balance, right? Because on one hand, look at Kanye. Kanye's career might actually be permanently done outside of him just being a Nazi figure now. Like a niche, long forgotten and disgraced Nazi figure, right? I hope that Twitch does something. I want Twitch to crumble, okay? Let me throw out my opinion on Twitch, okay? I really hate Twitch. I've hated Twitch for a long time, and I'm not going to like Twitch anytime soon, frankly. I want Twitch to die. I want all of the streamers on Twitch to move their entire audiences and platforms over to YouTube, and for Twitch to sink, and then for YouTube to just improve streaming. There are so many ways they could improve streaming. Holy fucking shit, they could improve streaming in a lot of ways. For one, having a dedicated stream page like Twitch has. Imagine if I had a page on my YouTube channel that you could click on that was always my live stream. If I wasn't live, it just said Xander Hall is offline. But when I did go live, it would be live and you would see it. Like in your and it's one VOD that always exists. It would just clone itself and the VOD would go down as like a VOD on the channel whenever it ends. But like a place where you can go to always see when a video goes live would always exist, like on Twitch. Like if you just go to someone's Twitch channel, you see their stream and it just says they've gone offline. And the second they go online, the stream flicks on. With YouTube, I have to like schedule my stream like a couple hours, a few hours before I go live, and you guys actually have to, see it and click into it and everything, which gives you basically 3 hours window to get into the stream and know it exists before it goes live, right? And that's not that much compared to knowing I go live at this time and being able to click on the page to go to my stream and leave it open at any time, right? With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and regardless of how you support me, I really do appreciate it. But if you would like to support me directly, financially, and you've got the money for it, consider hitting that subscribe, donate, or gift sub button on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me financially through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Streamelements, or Patreon. And of course, you can also buy some merch, link down below in the Streamlabs link in the description. And finally, if you want to follow me on my social media, you can do so, link in the description as well, where you can see all the other stuff I do online that isn't on YouTube and Twitch. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.